come and have a seat. It's great to have another James in the building.
Well, always, can't have too many.
No, exactly.
Any more? Oh. Disappointing.
Yeah, never mind. It's great. It's rather disconcerting seeing ourselves on the screen down there, isn't it? Let's try to ignore that.
It's just got you and me, and in between it says beyond understanding. Let's see how we do.
Yes. What a great start. Yeah. Well, we're really excited to have you with us. You've come a bit of a distance, not too far. Where have you come from?
Come from Yeovil. Met some inhabitants of Yeovil from the past already. It's great. And who's been to Yeovil? Oh, lots of people have been to Yeovil, the centre of the universe. Yeah. It's very wet over here in Nailsea, isn't it?
Well, we're really pleased that you've made the journey to come and join us. But you have left your family behind at home. Tell us about your family.
Yeah, I've left some of them behind at home. So my wife, Becky, we've been married for 25 years, which is easy to remember because we go with the year, 2025. We got married in March of 2000. And she is a piano teacher. She teaches children in 2 different schools near Yeovil. She does 4 days a week, and Friday is one of her days. She left the home at 8 o'clock this morning. Apparently she's not due back home until 9:30 tonight, because she's running on from school to a music rehearsal. Musicians will know all about it. Long nights. And then we've got 2 boys, Harry and Joseph. Harry is 18 and has not quite completed his first week at university. So we drove him up last Saturday to Warwick, where he is due to study engineering. So everything's fine. He'll make friends. He'll enjoy his engineering, but we just can't imagine what he's going to cook and eat. And then Joseph is a year behind, so he is, as in a year behind Harry, he is in the last year of the 6th form at a local Church of England comprehensive school, and doing well. He is studying 3-dimensional art, history, I understand that one, and the third one is criminology. So,
okay.
And he's into medieval weaponry and horror films.
Okay, well, thank you.
And we have a cat called Topaz, who's a bit sad story. Topaz and his brother Onyx came to live with us only 18 months ago, and they're young cats. And sadly, Onyx died this year. Unexpectedly, cancerous thing inside.
I thought you were going to say by a medieval weapon.
Yeah, well, it could easily have been so. But so we have Topaz still, who is usually hungry.
Okay, great. Tell us, we'd love to know a bit about what you're here, effectively. What made you turn to Jesus? What was it that made you become a Christian?
Yeah, thank you. I don't have one of those amazing stories, which I love listening to, of other people where they've been, amazing rebellious teenage years and gone off and done all sorts of terrible crimes, etc., and then the Lord zapped them on a particular day at a particular moment, and that's not me. I grew up in a Christian home, mostly in Norfolk, rural Norfolk, where with amazing parents, my mum and dad, and then 2 sisters, Caroline and Sarah. And I am the baby of the family. And I guess church was just part of life. We always went to church. I was actually born in Sevenoaks in Kent. We moved up to Norfolk when I was about 6 or 7. And one of my memories really is of particularly my dad at bedtime, coming up the stairs and going round to my 2 sisters and to me, probably started with me as the youngest and then going on to them, and sitting on the bed and saying, now, James, tonight, are we going to pray a sorry prayer, or a thank you prayer, or a please prayer. And he taught me to pray and to trust that God was there and that you could pray in your bedroom and God hears it. Amazing things for children to learn. And if you've taught a child to pray, well done you. That's brilliant. I have to say, I think there were probably quite a lot of thank yous and pleases and not very many sorries. But that's small boys for you. And then another milestone certainly would have been at the age of about 11 when I was sent away at the summertime on a Scripture Union camp for boys. And it was under canvas on the North Norfolk coast, which, if you know it, can be even worse than Nailsea. Quite blowy at times. And we were in bell tents. And then in the evenings, they'd bring us into a bigger marquee-type tent and tell us about Jesus and help us understand the basics of the Christian message. And at some point through those talks, they would say, now tonight we're going to ask you whether you want to follow Jesus for yourself. And if so, pray this prayer along with us. You don't have to pray it out loud. God hears not just what you say in your bedroom, but what you say in your heart or in your mind, if you mean it, and to him. And, there was certainly nothing in me that wanted to say no. And all of me wanted to say yes. And I guess that was probably the first time away from that parental, loving control, and out for myself with a bunch of people I didn't know so well, listening to somebody else that wasn't mum and dad or the local vicar, and it felt like a powerful moment, as you can probably tell. And so for me, it's been sort of growing bit by bit, up and down, for 59 years.
Oh, well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. It's great, isn't it, hearing different people's journeys? We've all got different journeys, and it's lovely to hear how God's been at work. Mm-hmm. I think we probably need to talk about your dad, don't we? I mean, it's kind of hard to avoid that. Tell us about your dad.
I love talking about my dad. And I'm really, along with my two sisters, we are just so proud of him. Do you sing his hymns sometimes?
Sometimes. We may have got a couple coming.
Oh, whoa. Spoiler alert.
Not tonight, but during the weekend.
So my father is Timothy Dudley Smith, and he was, when I was born, he was the General Secretary of the Church Pastoral Aid Society, CPAS, which Sarah's dad did that job as well later on. And then when we moved to Norfolk, he was Archdeacon of Norwich and did that job for about 8 or 9 years, and then became Bishop of Thetford and did that job for about 10 or 11 years before retiring. And through a lot of that time, he was writing hymns and continued to write hymns into his long retirement. He died just over a year ago, in the middle of 2024, at the age of 97. And we came across, in his notebooks, the last complete hymn that he wrote, which was on one of the Psalms. And then we turned over the page in his little ancient, scrawly handwriting, and there was another attempt at another Psalm on the next page, which was not quite complete. And then the next page was blank. So all a bit poignant. I don't know what to tell you. It was... My sisters would agree we had an amazing, loving Christian home, and that my parents were, to us, just mummy and daddy. And yet, wherever we went, in churches, people would sort of queue up to shake his hand and tell them their story of having, sung Tell Out My Soul at their wedding or something. Let me tell you about going to America. I was about 20 and having a year off out of my degree course. I was a year in France, But at the end of that year, I had the opportunity to go with my mum and dad on a trip to the States, and my dad was speaking in various centres around the United States in different cities. And the guy organising it, who was a hymn publisher in America, at some foolish moment on the phone to my dad in England said, such a shame your son James can't come with you. So my dad said, is that really an offer? Are you serious? And then the guy said, oh, well, could he? So they actually paid for we paid for my flights, but the publishing company paid for accommodation for my dad and my mum and me to travel around these different centres and see. And my dad was speaking in different churches and conferences for hymn writers, for organists, church musicians, academics, Moody Bible Institute, and meeting different hymn publishers and doing bits of work here and there, and being interviewed on radio stations and goodness knows what. And it was absolutely eye-opening for me, because I'd seen the hymns being written through my childhood, but suddenly here were people, across the Atlantic. Oh, my dad's quite famous, he just was a remarkable, godly model of a Christian person and a Christian minister. In his care home, where he died, he was there for about 6 months. He wasn't really able to concentrate on television or any of those things, and he loved people coming in to see him. He enjoyed chatting with the mostly African origin carers that were coming in to help him. And whenever we would go and see him, or my sisters, there were 2 books, and he'd love it if we would read from one of those books. So one of them was called Daily Light. Anybody know Daily Light? Ah, well done. Which gives you little Bible verses clumped together in themes, different one for each day of the year, morning and evening. So that was one. And the other one was, I think it's called, it was sections out of the writings of John Stott. And I think it's called John Stott Through the Year or something like that. My father and John Stott were very, very good friends throughout their whole lives. And my father preached at his memorial service in St. Paul's Cathedral. My dad was probably about 90 at that point. And you may not know who John Stott was, but he was a worldwide known writer and preacher and Church of England minister, biblical teacher. And so there was my dad in the vestry at St. Paul's Cathedral with the Bishop of London, our new Archbishop of Canterbury, and the previous Archbishop of Canterbury, and Dean of St. Paul's and all the rest of it. And they all had to sit there and listen to my dad talking. Yeah, amazing things. He spent a weekend at Sandringham with the Queen and the royal family, because the tradition was that the Bishop of Norwich, who was my dad's diocesan bishop, would spend the weekend with the royal family at Sandringham, which is in Norfolk, on the weekend immediately after Christmas every year, and preach for them in their little church at Sandringham on that Sunday. And there was a year when there was no Bishop of Norwich and there was no Bishop of King's Lynn, so it fell to the Bishop of Thetford to go and do that. And he came back and told us stories of the Queen's jigsaw puzzles and the corgis and breakfast with, in those days, Prince Charles, Princess Diana was there, Andrew and Edward and Anne, all sitting round helping themselves from a buffet breakfast and picking up the newspapers and commenting to one another about what the newspapers were saying about each other across the breakfast table. You can tell I could go on, but collar me afterwards.
It's really lovely to hear you speak so affectionately of your dad, actually, and that's really lovely to hear.
Can I just say also, so we've had a year of doing services where I took his cremation service, spoke with my sisters at his memorial service. I took the service for the burial of his ashes, and we've just done his sister, who also died this year, she was older at 99. They both died with cars, 97 and 99-year-olds. And then we've laid a lovely stone over, so my dad's ashes have gone in where my mum's ashes are. So they're together there, and a lovely stone over them, which has, to get it right, Psalm 34, verse 3 on it, which my dad had engraved before their wedding on the inside of my mother's wedding ring, and it says,
there is a Bible there.
Yes, thank you. It's something like, praise the Lord with me and let us exalt his name together. So isn't that lovely? Isn't that lovely? And that's on there. So, and my mum was an amazing example too, and wonderful, warm-hearted, people person, lovely, supportive Christian lady. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for sharing all that. So, I mean, have you written any hymns?
No. But we run a children's holiday club every summer. This time we were on a medieval theme with...
Not weapons.
Yeah, there were some weapons, but no children were harmed in the making of this. Yeah, castles and dragons and all that sort of thing. I did write a song for that, to an ABBA tune. My dad would have been appalled. And I've done one or two, again, children's things, Christmas things. Quite difficult, actually. You know, for... we all think, you know, Christmas carols, everybody knows Christmas carols. But children really, you know, small children don't know what they're singing, do they? You know... think of those last lines of Once in Royal David City. Well, who's waiting around in white and why? Yeah.
Okay, well, you know.
And I wrote a poem this summer on holiday about seals in the sea, and last summer about a sheep.
We probably won't sing those. No. Okay, well, it's a good effort there. So let's talk then about how you relax, because obviously you are vicar of St John's in Yeovil, but how do you relax?
Thank you very much. I have a day off. Do you have a day off?
I do.
What day do you have?
Friday. No, that doesn't work, does it? Usually Friday.
Well, I have usually Thursday, which suits me well, and my wife tries to keep that as a day off as well. So we don't work on Thursdays, and boys go off to school, and we often go for a walk or have lunch in a cafe or whatever it is. Actually, we went to see the Downton Abbey film yesterday. So, yeah, very nice.
No spoilers.
But I know what you're angling for.
Yes,
I am also a magician. I do, and it's been a lifelong hobby for me. I don't do music. I'm not a musician. I'm a magician. And I started in my teenage years, and would you like to see a trick?
Yes. I think that was a yes. That was a very polite nailsy yes.
Very good. I'm carefully prepared with two of your lovely tables here.
I'm sorry they wobble.
That's fine. I'm putting that one near you, James. And this one's over here. And I brought my pack of cards, so there we go. See how we get on. Okay, so... Oh, yeah, there is one in there as well. Okay. So, let's give the pack a bit of a shuffle here. And I'm going to come... Oh, can I pick on you since you're conveniently there? All you've got to do is say stop, okay? And I'm going to run my finger up the side of the pack of cards like this, and you've just got to say stop anytime you like, okay?
Stop.
There? Happy with that?
Yep.
Okay, so we make a break there. All right, so we've cut the cards. Would you like to take the top card that where you stopped me? And I'm immediately able to tell you, just say yes or no in a nice loud voice, that your card is the Jack of Clubs. No. Well, that does prove it was a free choice. I do that every time, and one time out of every 52... Right, James, here is my pack of cards. It really is an ordinary pack of cards. I'd like you to give it a shuffle. Now, you see, the thing is, when you get somebody else to shuffle, and I'm not even looking at him, That really raises the stakes. At this point, I have no control, and he's getting on with it, and I have no idea what he's doing, or whether I'm going to have to pick them all off the floor afterwards. But it really makes the likelihood of a good outcome plummet to the floor when you give the pack of cards to somebody else to shuffle. Okay, thank you very much. Now, I am going to make a prediction, and I'm going to take one card out of the pack, okay, and make a prediction, but it's not one of those. No, it's not one of those. Oh. Okay. Might be that one. Just check. Yeah, that'll do. Okay. So I'm going to put my prediction card here and leave it on this little nice round table. Okay, here's this pack which you shuffled. I've just taken one card out of it, James. And over here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this face up. I'm going to deal some cards out onto this corner of this nice table here, like this. And face up one at a time. I want you just to say stop any time you like.
Stop.
Okay, happy?
I am.
All right. So I'm turning those over, and that leaves us with a little pile here. What I'd like you to do here is just to reach over with your hand and cut off some of these cards and put them face down on the other end of this table here. Oh.
Sorry.
Lovely. Thank you very much. We'll mark that by putting those sort of crossways over there like that. So I've put the... So just a quick recap. This is the card I chose to be my prediction. This is the pile where you cut the pack, and this is the one where we were dealing it out and you said stop. Okay, now, none of us knows how, unless you were actually counting, how many are here. Okay, but this was where you said stop to me, and it's quite a lot of cards. You kept me going for a while, didn't you there? Maybe 20 cards, perhaps, in that pile. And here, where we cut the pack, you cut it. Again, actually, that's probably about 20 as well. Now, for the first time, James, I'd like you to lift that top card and turn it over and tell everybody what it is. Okay, on this pile where you cut, tell everybody out loud.
The ace of diamonds.
You've cut to the ace of diamonds. Okay, let's have that ace, and we'll put that on this pile where you cut. Now, would you lift this whole pile up, please? Okay, hold it face down. Now, an ace, so I'm working with that word, ace. And I'd like you to deal off from the top, one card at a time, face down onto this corner, A, C, E. Stop there. Now, you cut to an ace, and we've spelled down the word ace. Okay, so would you take the top card there and tell everybody what it is?
It is the ace of clubs.
The ace of clubs. Would you believe that? So let's have that. Hold on to those ones. Now, I made a prediction at the beginning by taking one card out of the pack. And would you believe my prediction actually is another ace? Look at that, we've got the ace of spades over here. So I predicted the ace of spades, you cut to the ace of diamonds, we spelled down to the ace of clubs, and that's 3 out of 4. You're holding a pile of cards and you've been dealing out from this pile. So, James, the next card on the top of that pile, supposing that were the last ace, do you think they'd all clap?
I reckon they would.
Tell us, what's on the top of your pile?
Ace of hearts.
And you chose the wrong card.
Yeah.
What was the card you chose? 9 of hearts. The 9 of hearts. I've got one card in my pocket. And it's not the 9 of hearts. It's blank. Look at that. A blank playing card. Blank on both sides. Watch it carefully. I'm going to throw it in the air. You ready? 1, 2, and 3. Would you believe it's the 9 of hearts?
Well, that was seriously impressive.
Let's talk about something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, do you have an outlet for doing magic, or just do it for your own entertainment?
So, I mean, over the years, I've done all sorts of different things. I mean, I am very amateur, and
I think we disagree.
No. It's been a lovely hobby for me all my life. Quite, in some respects, quite a sort of lonely one in a way. I'm a member of the Magic Circle, but I never get to their meetings. It happens in London. They've got an amazing clubhouse, brilliant place, but it's too far away. And I was a member in my previous job, which was in Brighton. I was a member of a Sussex branch of the Magic Circle, which was good fun. But mostly it's been learning new stuff at home for my own joy and pleasure, and performing it from time to time. In my older teenage years, I did loads of kids' parties and used to hire myself out for half an hour to come and entertain, 6-year-olds was my speciality. And then went on through school to university, where I performed for my peers for the first time, really, and did college balls and stuff like that a little bit. Pretty taxing audiences. And then I was a teacher for 5 years in a boarding school. And that's where I fell in love with playing cards, really. At that point, I didn't do shows. I just did it for my own fun, and would go around the boarding house trying out new stuff, and a bit more kind of close-up magic, if you like. Since ordination, life takes over, doesn't it? And I've just not, I do not practice the way I should practice. But I have had a sabbatical this year, so if you're having one soon,
yeah,
I can recommend some good ways to spend your time.
Thank you very much. So the obvious next question is, how do we rate as an audience compared to 6-year-olds?
Yeah, remarkably similar.
Brilliant. Well, we're really looking forward to having you with us this weekend. Thank you, because it's obviously a big sacrifice for you to come
just
out
say,
the weekend.
no tricks tomorrow.
Okay.
No tricks tomorrow. You might get something on Sunday.
Set the expectation.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll look forward to tomorrow and Sunday. And yeah, we're really grateful you've carved out this time to come and be with us. We're really excited about how God will use you.
Honoured to be asked. Thank you.
And we are looking forward to our weekend. So thank you very much.